I'm Scott, and this is episode 21 of What Makes This Map Great. This is the series where we take a deep dive into some classic games that hold a special place in my gaming heart. We're going to explore their amazing level design, beautiful art, creative combat encounters, as well as uncover their secrets and see just how much they've influenced the gaming world. And in this episode, we're covering Quake E4M2, the Tower of Despair. All sources used for this video will be linked down in the description below. Like, sub, do all the YouTube stuff. It is greatly appreciated. Let's get into it. The Tower of Despair is the second map of episode 4, the Elderworld for Quake. And this first taste of the Elderworld comes to us from legendary map designer Sandy Petersen. Speaking of first, this will actually be our first introduction to Sandy's mapping style in Quake. He has a unique style compared to the others we've covered, and that's really what makes his work a great fit for the Elderworld. We'll be dropping into this tower from the top of it through a hole, which will lead us through an old, decrepit setting. We'll be experiencing dark rooms and corridors made of rough stone and rusting metal, going through various tricks and traps. We'll also need the silver key because the exit archway requires it. And of course, we've got a wonderful cast of enemies here to welcome our despair. We've got ogres, knights, death knights, boars, and a shambler. There's also 5 secrets in total for this level, which we'll make sure to discover because they're actually quite useful through the various challenges this map has to offer. To give some context for this point of the player experience in Quake, it all started at the Slipgate Complex, a military base that is home to a machine capable of dimensional travel known as the Slipgate. An evil entity codenamed Quake sends its own forces through from the other side, defeating and turning all soldiers into mindless grunts. Ranger, the lone marine played by you, fights their way through with a mission to defeat this evil force and put an end to Quake. You step through the Slipgate and enter the dimension of the Doomed, a realm that is home to old haunted castles and dark underground caverns with monsters beyond our understanding. After conquering every obstacle, Ranger defeats Cathan, the realm's guardian, and obtains the Rune of Earth Magic. He discovers that a rune of magical power awaits him at the conclusion of each of Quake's haunted lands. Ranger then proceeds to the realm of black magic, where his fight continues through decaying castles, dark crypts, and ominous mansions. Nothing can stop him. He destroys the Vor sisters and acquires the Rune of Black Magic. The rune whispers dark thoughts into your brain and reveals that the Hellmother Shub-Niggurath is behind all of this. You also learn that once armed with all 4 runes, the gate to Shub-Niggurath's pit will open, and you can face the witch goddess herself in her frightful otherworld cathedral. Ranger continues his mission, travels through the next slipgate in search of the 3rd rune in the Netherworld, a dark and barren place full of vaults and tombs, primal fear in a strange dimension. Surviving horrors of the chambers of torment, you grasp the Rune of Hell Magic. Its terrible secrets blight your mind. Gathering the shreds of your courage, you become ever more determined to destroy the hideous creatures whose mere existence threatens the souls and psyches of all the population of Earth. With one more rune left to collect, Ranger continues on through the 4th and final slipgate into the Elderworld, where your worst nightmares come true. Arcane and abstraction combined, with eldritch horrors threatening Ranger's sanity. This is where our journey takes place. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. We enter at the Tower of Despair. It would seem that we've arrived at the top of this tower, as we can see the massive purple sky overhead. Brick walls surround us, and they look old and decrepit. How long has this tower existed? We also notice some supply boxes from base soldiers left behind here. A common design choice for the second levels of each episode tells the visual story that Slipgate Marines traveled here before you. We can guess how that ended for them. A hole in the floor lies before us. It is engraved with evil runes and a demon skull relief. The structure also seems to be made of bones and flesh. An ominous warning of what awaits below, no doubt. And just like the prior level, the only way forward is down. Let's descend into this Tower of Despair. The fall is high. We crunch down hard on the old brick flooring. We can hear the sound of knights groaning nearby, and even ogres off in the distance. A mega health is provided right away, and as we pick it up, Sandy gives us a hint for a nearby secret. The window is key to a secret. We'll get to that in just a bit. The archway in front of us appears massive, as well as the surrounding decaying brickwork walls. The ceiling features this old, aged metal paneling, which helps contrast against the brick stone and earthy wood textures. The wooden framing also has pickups, just out of reach. Wooden cages flank the sides of this room, holding ammo and a double-barreled shotgun, something we definitely want, and it's linked to that secret hint. This beautiful red stained glass window, runic markings surround it, as well as a wooden frame. It makes a subtle target. Shoot it. A chunk of brick under it moves aside, revealing a button with a dagger. Press that, and the cages lower, providing you a double-barreled shotgun and ammo. And you'll need it. Move quickly to open access to it. Then blast these knights. We're presented with a T-intersection hallway. Let's take the hall better lit. We got the jump. Take these two knights out. Here, we get a glimpse of how different Sandy's design style is to the prior maps we've examined. These torch braziers have a unique design, and I love them. They cast shadows below while mostly illuminating out from the top and front face of it. These shadows look great. We're also seeing a continuation of those earthy brown textures here, a trademark of the Elder texture set. Continuing down the hall is a dead end, but we have our next secret here. It's actually a double secret. See this wall without the wooden trim along the floor? Axe it. And you found a secret. Finding a ring of shadows and some nail ammo. Not so hasty. Before grabbing the ring, turn around and wait for the door to close. You'll notice a small alcove to the right with another dagger button. This next section, we have to move quickly, as these secret doors don't stay open long. Press the button, then hit the wall to open it again. Grab the ring, and the floor has opened, revealing armor. It's a teleporter, giving us access to that wooden frame beam with pickups in the starting room. Make the most of this ring. Let's take that left hall. We get the jump on this ogre, as well as these knights. We catch sight of this room to the right with a pool. Let's continue down the hall first and deal with this final ogre before we take on the dangerous trio by that pool. Back to the pool room. This room is so cool. The visuals make me think of an old, decaying cistern with its giant archways, dead mossed ceiling, and water feature in the middle. The sound of dripping water also boosts immersion here. The adjacent archways also feature wonderful items, a mega health, yellow armor, and a silver key, but also a terrible combination of enemies, 2 ogres and a vor. And Sandy also curates this experience. There's a thin metal beam here on our archway, preventing us from trying to jump across to the adjacent platforms. That's because this is a nasty trap. The water plane is an illusion. It's just a sheet of water. Stepping onto it, you'll take a fall down below into a dark, ominous section of this tower, and you'll be greeted by a shambler. It's massive, sharp claws and teeth for a face. But here, you'll notice a network of wooden structural beams above with helpful items, as well as a pentagram of protection. You could try to avoid the shambler and nimbly cross these beams to get the penta using this lift back here. I make it look easy to move and jump around on these beams, but I don't recommend it. In my opinion, you're better off going toe-to-toe with this beast. We do have the nail gun to help, and we can save that penta for the upcoming dangers. And if you were wondering about this teleporter back here, it will take you back to the beginning of the map with the stained glass window. A nice escape option should you need it. Let's play it out. But before we ignorantly fall through the water, let's deal with that trio in the cistern room. Use these corners to your advantage. Dodge or jump over these ogre grenades. You can even try to get some infighting between the vor and the ogres. Help save some ammo. If you pull it off, you're in for an epic showdown between these two. The ogre wins, which is a shock, to be honest. Usually, I see the vor win. Okay, now let's go dance with the shambler. Wait, what the? Oh, something extremely rare just happened. If you were listening in my fight with the trio above, there was a teleporting sound. I noticed it, but didn't think much of it, because I didn't want to believe that maybe one of the ogre's grenades bounced down and hit the shambler, causing it to path towards the corner teleporter below, sending it to the start of the map. Well, that totally happened. It's a first for me, so I'm sharing it with you all. That's 2 out of the norm moments for me. Just comes to show that Quake can still surprise you after 30 years. But anyhow, this is how the shambler fight would normally go down. Use this pillar for cover from its opening lightning attack. Charge the shambler. Juke its melee attacks to prevent it from using lightning. Dip in and out of its swipes. Pump it with nails. You also want to avoid its double overhead, as it causes major damage and could be the end of you. I love the dark shadows of this room. There are pools of light being cast by limited light sources, which makes this space feel dangerous, setting the mood of what's to come. Old decaying bricks now paired with cracked brickwork just gives the sense that this tower is old and barely held up. On a side note, I can't use the original Quake soundtrack due to copywriting issues, but the track that plays for this map is the stuff of nightmares. In a good way. Take this time to use that lift and practice your jumping skills to get the supplies on the wooden support beams overhead. Hold off on grabbing the penta though. We'll get it soon. Let's go over the next sections of this map. We enter a series of dark hallways, pools of light illuminating our way. Immediately to our right, a small room with a button in the corner. Upon pressing it, a lift lowers, which gives us quick access to the pentagram of protection. Gotta give Sandy credit for this small space. The lighting looks great, and the upper walkway is a unique design. Further down the hall, it goes left, providing us another power-up. A quad damage. A Vor acts as a deterrent, guarding the quad. Ranger doesn't care though. We'll be pentaquadded up in these hallways. Continuing down, we run into another intersection. Should we go right, we'll encounter 2 Death Knights, as well as a dead end. An ogre stands on the other side of these metal bars, as well as another mega health above, and a quad. How generous, Sandy. But instead of going right, we'll go left. Smaller knights march in line as we enter this large, multi-leveled room. A set of ramps lead the way up, with ogres guarding the way. Though, a metal door seems to block our progression here. One ogre stands on top of a metal platform hung from the ceiling, just in front of another red stained glass window, a hint of where to go. A set of wooden support beams offers a way to climb up to that platform, which we'll use to proceed forward from here. But they also give access to that mega health and quad we saw earlier in the halls. There's access in the back corner here, where we'll carefully drop down to grab the mega. But that quad, let's save it for later. Let's play it out for now. Access the lift and grab the penta. Rush forward. Get the quad. I'll let the double barrel do the talking here. Still quadded. Let's turn this corner and destroy these knights. Save this second quad for later. Proceed down this hallway. An ogre stands guard at a button next to this gated entryway. Take him down. We press the button and now have access to this small nook. We see what should be a familiar theme. A trio of items with archways. This should spark your memory of that water pool room. We also hear the sound of those mystical winds from teleporters, a clue of what to expect when grabbing one of these items. Let's go for the yellow armor. We teleport and find ourselves in that pool room. Now, you'll need to perform some careful jumps across to each archway. Grab the silver key, then the mega health, and return back to the silver key platform. A teleport awaits. Step through, and we're now back at the ramp room with the stained glass window. Let's go ahead and shoot the window. Leap across, and take this lift up. Tight quarters, in darkness with limited light, and a button grabs our attention. Stay on guard. This knight will try to ambush you. Easy. Before we press the button, we have our next secret here. To the right of the button, you should notice the wall texture change from cracked stone to dry, dead vines. Axe it, and you found a secret. Before you drop down though, we need to press the button to open the way forward. Be quick to leap off the grates below. They'll open up to drop you down into a nasty encounter. 2 ogres have the high ground, while a death knight charges you on the ground level. But that secret we just uncovered gives us an alternate path, giving us the jump on these ogres. And while we may take some damage, we should be fairly healthy to handle it. This high ground also helps with the death knight. Okay, this is the final push of the map, and we'll be using the quad here, so let's cover it. This entry hall almost looks like we're entering an open maw. I like the shape of this upper platform. It's abstract and unusual from prior architecture in other episodes. I will say the fire on the floor does seem unusual. Could have used a brazier or something to ground it better to the environment. Also, the teeth on these metal bars aren't for decoration. It's a crushing trap that requires you to time it carefully in your approach. Conveniently, there's a walkway through it once it lowers. Proceeding through, we'll be going face to face with another ogre here, which will really challenge your close quarters abilities against ogres. Again, ungrounded fire sources here. It looks unfinished. Maybe Sandy was rushing to finish this map. But then again, it's the Elder World and it's supposed to be weird. Passing through this ogre, a nail trap will trigger. It's slow firing compared to others, but still has the ability to damage, so do your best to avoid it. Now, this is the final challenge for this map, and I love the way it's built. We have this multi-leveled room. These fire braziers on the walls create interesting shadows and lighting. The critical path is above, leading to a teleporter which takes you to the exit archway, but it's precarious, broken down, revealing metal beams that make crossing difficult. I like this aesthetic. It's unique to this episode, in my opinion. Below, a Vor awaits with a Death Knight. They'll be doing their best to make you fall down and suffer their attacks. Little do they know, we need to get all the kills, which will require us to jump down anyways, as there is another small section at the back of this lower region. This lone knight stands guard of another dagger button, the last line of defense to prevent you from escaping this tower of despair. Pressing the button opens a shortcut back to the dark halls where the second quad is located, allowing you to return to the dual ramps, pass through the chomping gates, and retry crossing the broken down walkway. Okay, we've saved the quad damage for this final push, so let's grab it and make haste. Running through these halls again, the pools of light helps guide your way, all while creating an ominous mood. Watch your step at the gates. Ogres down. Close the distance with the Vor. Pump that quad double shoddy. Ooh, the knight got me. Just a flesh wound. And now we've cleared the Tower of Despair. We just need to take a victory lap back through. This might be my only critique of the map. It just feels a bit redundant to have to circle all the way back from here should you accidentally fall down crossing that broken down walkway. I would have maybe placed a lift with a button back over by where the Vor is, but maybe Sandy just wanted to shame us a little for not making the jump. A tip to succeed crossing: hug the right wall and jump around the second metal rebar post. I find that usually works for me. we walk through this final teleporter, and to no surprise, take a short fall and land with a crunch. Our silver key unlocks the iron gate, giving us access to the archway exit. We've survived the Tower of Despair. How much worse can it get here in the Elder World? We step through. Score screen here, showing off the room where we picked up the second quad. Love the dark foreboding vibes here. Continuing through, we find ourselves at the Elder God's Shrine. This is by far one of my favorite maps in this episode. One we'll make sure to cover in a future video. So here's the part where I go over some quick trivia regarding our featured map. Couldn't find a whole lot, but I've got a few for you, so here you go. The floating water section of this map can be a terrible surprise for new players. Sandy Petersen is well known for his knowledge of Lovecraftian horror. Apparently, Lovecraft really hated water, and as a result was usually a negative aspect in his stories. Petersen wanted to make players distrust water in this episode by disorienting them. In the case of this part of the map, the player falls through the water plane, taking falling damage, and has no immediate way to return back. This is made even more complicated considering the shambler waiting down below. The player starts to distrust water from here on out, and trust me, I did as well. So after experiencing that fall and going toe-to-toe with that shambler, yeah, don't trust the water in episode 4. In the N64 version of Quake, there are some differences in this map from its PC counterpart. The military crates and the slipgate platform are removed from the start of the map. Additionally, the trigger for secret number 2 was removed. It still exists, but it doesn't count as a secret. Additionally, it's still required to access secret number 3. So, what makes E4M2, the Tower of Despair, a great map? It immediately sets the tone for the Elder World, dropping the player into an old, rundown tower with a dark and ominous setting. The map excels in environmental storytelling, using things like abandoned supply boxes to hint at the fate of prior soldiers who visited the tower. The walkways are in disrepair, and even the cage structures can really get the imagination going. Makes you wonder what happened in these spaces. I'd also like to bring up the subtle visual cue of the stained glass windows. The first one is prompted to us that it hides a secret, leading to acquiring the double-barreled shotgun, but it also serves as a gameplay design seed. The next time a player sees a red stained glass window, they're going to be incentivized to shoot it and see what happens. We also need to bring up the what I like to call don't trust the water trap. A sheet of water hides a dangerous fall and a shambler waiting in the darkness. This disorients the player and challenges them. It also serves as a Lovecraftian nod. I love this setup. The level design also features a complex multi-layered layout with multiple rooms that have verticality elements to them. It's also reliant on teleporters that essentially create a sort of circular path throughout the map. It's a great way to reuse sections of the map, and also a welcome surprise for players when they appear in sections that they saw earlier that they weren't able to access before. And then there's the lead up to the final push. You've got the sort of dilapidated walkways with the rusted rebar poking out of them. These sections require the player to focus and excel at player movement, even if it risks a little bit of redundancy to return back in the case that they fail their jump. Also, the strategic placement of the pentagram protection and the quad, while providing clever enemy encounters to complement these pickups, ensures high stakes with satisfying combat throughout the dark halls of this map. It's a powerful example of how level design can establish an atmosphere of dread and challenge, solidifying Sandy Petersen's unique mark on the Quake universe. It's a descent into pure Lovecraftian madness, and a major reason why the Netherworld remains one of Quake's most memorable episodes. What are your thoughts on E4M2, the Tower of Despair? Did you ever get squished by the crushing doorway? And how about that water drop? Did that catch you off guard the first time you played this map? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more Grit Gaming content. And if you're looking for more, check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.